Okay, this morning we begin a new maamar, Lahavin in Simchas Torah. This maamar goes all the way to Simchas Torah, but it actually explains all of the Yom Tovim of Tishrei. Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, Shemoneh Esrei, Simchas Torah. The whole theme that pervades the entire festival season. And this maamar has an interesting history as well. It was said, as it says at the top of there on the page, Motzei Simchas Torah, on the night after Simchas Torah, Bechedroi, in the Rebbe's room, Tavshin Lamed Ches, in the year Tavshin Lamed Ches, which is 5738, 1978, 1977, the beginning of the year Tavshin Lamed Ches. So that year was the year that the Rebbe had a heart attack, serious heart attack, on the night of Shemoneh Esrei, and in Shul, in 770. And so he was immediately taken to his room, attended to by doctors, and they made a mini hospital basically in the Rebbe's room in 770, up in his study. And he remained there, unwell, from Shemoneh Esrei until Rosh Chodesh Kislev, the beginning of Kislev, a couple of months later. So that entire time he was not seen. The first time he was seen again publicly was on Rosh Chodesh Kislev. However, during that time, he did say maamarim and sichos, and he spoke to the crowd through a hookup. So like a microphone that was then put into 770. And so this happened. This maamar that we're going to learn was said the night after. So Shemoneh Esrei night was when the heart attack happened. Simchas Torah is the next day, and the night after Simchas Torah, the Rebbe said this maamar through hookup to the crowd. So you can imagine that Simchas Torah would have been quite a difficult one for the community. The Rebbe wasn't there.
Was it the first time the Rebbe came up well? Yeah. And so this was a very awaited maamar where the Rebbe actually spoke. And spoke publicly, having had a heart attack a day and a half before, and so that's why it says Bechedra. This maamar was said from his room. It was heard in 770, but it was said in the room. So let's have a look. The Havin in Simchas Torah. We need to understand the concept, the idea of Simchas Torah. What is Simchas Torah about? It's known the question that's asked in many maamarim about Simchas Torah. There's something strange and unusual about the way we celebrate Simchas Torah. Masha ofen hasimcha, the Simchas Torah, hu shaloichem sefer Torah kfi shi krucha u'mechusa b'mapa u'meraktim ima. The fact that Simchas Torah, the way we have joy, the way we celebrate on Simchas Torah, is through taking a sefer Torah as it is wrapped up and covered by its mantle, and we dance with it. What's strange about that? So there's several things strange about it. First of all, the fact that we take a Sefer Torah, which we'll explain. Second of all, that we take it when it's wrapped up. And third of all, that we dance with it. All three of those things are unusual. I mean, we're used to it. That's what we do on Simchas Torah. But if you think about it, they're all quite strange. Why would that be the way to celebrate the Torah? Taking a Sefer Torah specifically, wrapped up and closed, and dancing with it. Why is that strange?
When you take it out,
seems like the best way to party with the Torah.
I guess you think you'd learn something from it, or
so right. So what are we celebrating exactly? What is the Torah? So what is the Torah? What is the Torah? A holy object, an artifact, an ornament, what's the idea? It's wisdom. Torah is wisdom. Chachma. Chachmas Hashem, the wisdom of Hashem. What's the point of Torah? To learn it, to study it, to gain wisdom and insight. So, an appropriate way to celebrate the Torah would be to delve in its wisdom, to immerse yourself in the thoughts and ideas, into the study of Torah. That's what Torah is. That's what it's for. That would be the most fitting way to acknowledge and appreciate Torah, is through learning. And yet on Simchas Torah, the day of the joy of the Torah, what do? We keep the Torah closed, wrapped.
People who don't learn it, they could still celebrate with it.
Which is also a question. People who don't learn it can also celebrate. That's another part of it. So keeping it wrapped and closed, it's not just we're not learning it. You can't learn it. You can't read what it says when it's wrapped, when it's covered. It's not available. It's not accessible. It's closed up. You don't see what it says. You're not learning it. And you dance with it. Dancing is wisdom. Where's the connection? So the Rebbe explains, third line, even though it says in the Torah defines itself in the Torah. There's a verse that says, Kihi chachmaschem uvinaschem, because this is your wisdom and your understanding. It defines in the Torah what the Torah is, wisdom and understanding. That's the very definition of what Torah is. Nevertheless, the way we celebrate it is not through study and investigation and learning, but it's through dancing. Which dancing is the opposite of learning. Learning you do with your head, dancing you do with your feet. Learning is the highest human faculty. Dancing is the lowest. The skills that it takes for learning and the skills it takes for dancing are the exact opposite. Learning is a calm, settled thing. To learn, you have to be settled. If you're not quiet, you can't learn. You know, well, you could make noise, but if you're fidgety, busy, preoccupied, got other things to do, then you can't learn. Learning needs to be done in a settled way, that you sit and you absorb. If you're too in a rush, too many things on your mind, it doesn't work. Sit and focus. Dancing is moving all over the place, jumping all over the place. It's all about movement. It's the opposite of learning. Learning is the highest faculty, the most subtle faculty of intellect. Dancing is the feet, which are the lowest and the least subtle, the earthiest part of our being. So it seems the exact opposite of what would be expected. And not only are you dancing with the Sefer Torah, you're dancing with it closed, where its words are not apparent at all. And because the way we celebrate on Simchas Torah is not through learning and study, not through the connecting to the wisdom of Torah, but through dancing with the Torah, so therefore that means that the type of people who can join the Simcha are very different, as it explains the fourth line. For that reason, the joy of Simchas Torah is one that any Jew and every Jew participates in. Even the most simple people who have no relationship with wisdom and intellect. Not just people who haven't learned, people who can't learn, people who are not shaykh to it. They're not on the level to appreciate the depth and the wisdom of Torah, either because their abilities lack, or their exposure to Torah lacks, their skills are lacking, whatever it is. But even somebody who even if you did open the Sefer Torah and you started learning with them, they wouldn't know what's going on. They wouldn't understand it. Even such a person can fully participate in Simchas Torah, because all you got to do is dance, just join the circle. So somebody shows up in shul on Simchas Torah, they're not even sure why, or what the day is, or what the meaning of it is, or what the Torah is about, but they see the joy, and they can be drawn into it, and participate in it, and
have a nice dance. They can do Simchas Torah just as good as anyone else. The greatest scholar, the way the greatest scholar celebrates Simchas Torah is by dancing, the same way as a completely ignorant person. So, which is strange. I mean, it's a nice thing. It's very beautiful that everyone can join in. But if we're celebrating Torah, if it's Simchas Torah, if that's what it is, so how can somebody who has no connection to Torah be so much a part of such a simcha, of such a moment of joy about the Torah, when they don't know what it is? In the brackets, the square brackets, and even more than that, at the time of joy and dancing, the hakafas, the circuits that we do on Simchas Torah, nimshachim werden zugezogen, gam ke'elu, shebeshar yimei hashana ein hakesher v'zachta shelahem im inyan Torah, that we find at the time of joy, there are people drawn into the circle, such people that on other days of the year, you would not be able to detect their connection and their involvement with Torah, as we see all the time. It's not just it's possible for ignoramus to dance on Simchas Torah. It happens all the time. That's what happens. As you see it, as when you go to Simchas Torah, all around the world, in any shul around the world, Simchas Torah is a time that attracts a crowd of people who wouldn't be there on other days of the year. They don't come to the shiurim. They don't come to other festivals even. But Simchas Torah, they show up. And they don't just come, but they participate actively. They're into it. They're joyous. They're celebrating. What are you celebrating? What are you so happy about today? The Torah? Do you know what the Torah says? Do you know what the Torah says you're supposed to do with your life? Do you know the instructions about how to live in the Torah? Here you're celebrating something you don't keep. That you don't even know about. You don't even know what it's about. You don't even understand it, and you're celebrating with this joy, dancing. It's a strange thing. It's something that needs explanation. How could, if you saw somebody throwing a party, huge party, big celebration, having a wonderful time, and you ask them, so what's the celebration? I don't know. I'm not sure. It's a bit weird. You don't know what you're celebrating. Or even better, you say, no, I'm throwing a big party. Why? Because it's Barney's birthday. so I'm hosting a big party. I'm celebrating a big party. You say, who's Barney? I don't know. I'm not sure. But you're putting a party. You're joining this party. You're celebrating. You look very happy. Who are you celebrating? What are you celebrating? I don't know. That's strange. It's unusual. And yet, on Simchas Torah, people who are not able to learn, people who have no connection in their lives to observing Torah, they're attracted to come and fully participate in the Simcha. And they're okay. What they're doing is correct. What's strange about it is that that's the way we celebrate Simchas Torah. By just dancing. Something that anyone can do. Even if you're not connected to Torah. So this needs to be explained. After the brackets. And this idea, Shasimcha de Simchas Torah hi b'chol echad misrael. The idea that the joy of Simchas Torah is something that is experienced by every Jew, misbata gam b'zeh shemaraktim im Sefer Torah, is also expressed by the fact that what we dance with is specifically a Sefer Torah. Torah shebechsav davka, the written Torah specifically. Torah, the word Torah, refers not just to the 5 books of Moses, not just to the scroll that's kept in the ark. Torah means the entire gamut of divine revelation, of divine instruction, which includes the written Torah, the whole Tanakh, and includes the oral Torah, the Gemara, includes the Shulchan Aruch, the Code of Jewish Law. It includes all parts of Torah. So, when it comes to Simchas Torah, if it's the joy of the Torah, So Torah doesn't just mean the Torah scroll. It's not Simchas Sefer Torah. It's Simchas Torah generally, the whole Torah. So why don't we dance with other books? Why don't we take the Gemaras off the shelf and dance with them? Give people each a sefer. Everyone can hold a book. I mean, to dance with the entire Torah. Not just celebrating the written Torah, Simchas Torah, the Torah as a whole. So everyone could take a book and dance. But no, we only take Sefer Torah.
Is that an instruction or is that a custom?
The whole thing is a custom. The whole Simchas Torah is a custom, but a custom is
That.
also divinely inspired. And it's only the Sefer Torah we dance with. Why? Because there's something different and unique about the Sefer Torah part of Torah than any other part of Torah. About the written Torah as opposed to the oral tradition. What's that? There's a halacha brought in Shulchan Aruch, in the laws of Torah study, that says that even somebody who has no idea what they're reading, if you read from the written Torah, you make a blessing over it. You make the blessings of the Torah. What does this mean? There's a bracha that we make before Torah study. It's a bracha that we make in the morning as part of the morning blessings. It's also the bracha that's made when somebody's called up to the Torah. The blessing Hashem, who has chosen us from all the nations and given us His Torah, and we bless Hashem, the giver of the Torah. So that blessing is made before Torah study. You're not supposed to study Torah before making a blessing. Just like every mitzvah, you make a bracha, and then you do the mitzvah. So to Torah study, you have to make a bracha before doing the mitzvah. And so every morning we make that bracha to cover the day. You don't have to make the bracha every time you learn. You make the bracha once in the morning, and that covers the day of Torah study. And a separate thing is when we actually read from the Torah, reading from the Torah. So then the person called up to the Torah makes a bracha for that part of the Torah reading. Now, to make a bracha on something, to make a bracha on a mitzvah, you have to do the mitzvah correctly. You have to be about to do the mitzvah in a proper way, and so you make a bracha that I'm going to do the mitzvah. What's the correct way of learning Torah? Studying Torah. The mitzvah is to study Torah, to learn Torah. So what's the correct way to learn Torah? Well, what does learning mean?
Understanding.
Learning means understanding something. That you're going to read something and understand it. That's what learning is. That's what study is. If you are not going to understand what you're about to read, if you're about to read something and it's like you're reading Chinese, it's just a foreign language, so then is that called learning? That's not learning. You didn't learn anything. You could recite, blabble words, but that's not called learning. So the mitzvah of learning Torah means to understand what you're learning. However, when it comes to the written Torah, that's actually not the case. The words of the written Torah are such that if you read those words without understanding them, it's still considered learning. There's an innate holiness to the very words of the Torah, the written Torah, that reciting those words without understanding them is also called learning. It's also called learning Torah. Because even though there's not a conscious level of learning, where there's a concept that is becoming a part of your mind, when you're just reading the words in Hebrew and you don't understand the words, but because those words are divine words, they're directly the words of Hashem, so therefore there's a holiness in them that just reading them is also called learning Torah. It does have an effect, which is not the case in the oral Torah. If you read Gemara,
It's also divine.
or Shulchan Aruch, it's also divine, but the words are the words of people, divinely inspired and directed, but it's not what Hashem dictated to say in the direct way that the written Torah is. Also, in the written Torah, the words have to be written in a specific way. The Gemara can be written anyway. It doesn't have to be written by hand by a sofer and checked. It's a different thing.
Tanakh? Are you talking about Tanakh or only?
Tanakh is Torah Shebechsav, written Torah.
Tanakh.
Yeah. So the written Torah is different to the oral Torah in that if you learn Gemara and don't understand what you're learning, you didn't learn Torah. If you just recite words of Gemara, that's not learning Torah. If you recite words of Shulchan Aruch, or you just read the words. That's not called learning if you didn't understand what you're doing. Whereas the written Torah, just reading the words is called learning. You fulfilled the mitzvah of learning Torah just by reading the words. That's why, even if a total ignoramus is called up to the Torah, who has no idea what is being read, they also say the brachas HaTorah. Now you can't say a bracha on a mitzvah if you're not going to do the mitzvah properly. So you wouldn't be able to say a bracha of learning Torah and then recite a Gemara that you don't know what it's saying. You didn't learn Torah then. But you can say the bracha on learning Torah and then be called up to the Torah or read the written Torah, because the written Torah is not, the focus is not the understanding, the focus is the words.
But it's better if you understand it.
Better. But I'm saying you're doing the mitzvah.
It's only when Mashiach comes we'll really understand it.
Right.
Anyway.
That's right. Correct. So, while in Gemara, in oral Torah, the main thing is the concept, the idea, the understanding. In written Torah, the main thing is the words of God.
So you're saying if you try like a whole day to understand like 2 lines of Gemara, you didn't get it, like the whole day you tried, you're not fulfilling the mitzvah?
If you understood nothing, meaning you're just saying words and you don't know what they mean, don't know what the words. It's not saying if you didn't get the pshat correct or you didn't fully understand it. Meaning if you understood nothing, you just read words in Gemara.
Like look,
It's just Aramaic.
Aesthetic
It
paint.
says "Kom le midrabmene," abracadabra. Like, what did I just read? I don't know what it means. Then you've done nothing. If you've learned and you've understood, but you don't understand how does it work, how does this fit, that's still learning. You didn't get the pshat, you didn't get the explanation correct. That's learning because you understood something. Here's the thing, but if you just read the words of Gemara with no understanding, that's nothing. It's not a recital. It's a study. Whereas if you just read the words of Chumash and didn't understand what you're doing, that is learning. That's a part of learning because the holy words are being said by you. So, to say a bracha, what does it mean to say a bracha over a mitzvah? It means Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu Melech Haolam. Baruch, the word Baruch means to draw down. Atah means you, Hashem, your essence. Hashem, Yud Kei Vav Kei, into the system. Elokeinu, our God, Melech Haolam, the King of the world, who has commanded us this mitzvah. Every time you make a bracha, you are drawing down divine light by the act you're about to do. That's what the bracha is. That I'm about to do a mitzvah. That mitzvah is going to draw divine light into the world. And so you actually verbalize, Baruch Atah Hashem, that you, Hashem, the essence of Hashem is being drawn down by the following act, the mitzvah that I'm about to do. That's what a bracha means. You can only make that bracha if indeed the act you're about to do is a mitzvah and you're going to do it properly. If you're not going to do it properly, then you can't say a bracha because you're not drawing down any divine light. An ignoramus who makes the bracha on Torah and then reads words of the Torah that he doesn't understand, if it's written Torah, he's done the mitzvah. So therefore the bracha is appropriate. He's drawing down divine light through reading something he doesn't understand. Because that's the power of the written Torah. The oral Torah is not like that. So with this the Rebbe says that's why, what do we dance with on Simchas Torah? We dance with the written Torah, with the Torah scroll. Because the Torah scroll has the power that even an ignoramus can connect to it. Even someone who does not know what they're doing, doesn't know what they're reading, can connect to that. So again, we see this emphasis on Simchas Torah that it's not about you understanding and knowing and having wisdom. It's just about your connection to Torah that is just there. It's just a fact. Even if you're ignorant, if you don't know what it's about, you're connected to it.
You just have to be able to see it, the words. What if you can't read it?
So, even if you can't read it, when you can be called to the Torah, and somebody else reads on your behalf, and you follow along, you hear the words, even that you've done the mitzvah.
It's interesting as well that you even take out the invalid ones.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're not even invalid for the celebration.
Yeah, that's right. So, So we see how many layers of disconnect from the wisdom of Torah, Simchas Torah presents. That you're dancing with the Torah that's closed. You're dancing with it, you're not learning with it. It's closed so you can't see what it says in it. It's the written Torah, which means it's the part of Torah that anyone could connect to, even a total ignoramus. And that's why anyone, even those who don't keep Torah, don't know Torah, not educated in Torah, join in on Simchas Torah. So it almost seems like we're de-emphasizing the Torah, like we're celebrating the Torah, but anyone's connection to the Torah. So continues the Rebbe, the fifth last line of the paragraph. Now being that somebody who is an ignoramus and who is being called up to the Torah or reading the Torah and doesn't understand what they're saying, nevertheless is told that they should make the bracha on the Torah, and that they're told by Torah itself, which Torah is the Torah of truth, that you have to make a bracha. Meaning, if we call up somebody to the Torah, and we know that they have no clue about anything, they don't know what it says in the Torah, but they're being called up to the Torah, we tell them you have to make a bracha. You have to use Hashem's name. Al Pi Torah, the Torah itself says that you have to, because by reading the words or hearing the words read for you and following it along, that is called learning Torah. You need to make a bracha. So if Torah itself says that such a person needs to make a bracha, Hari Pashat Shekem Himatzias, it must be that that's the reality. Meaning, Shegam Zeh Shelo Yoda Mai Ka'amar Mamshich Oren Soif Va'ad Atzmas Amahus Noisan HaTorah B'HaTorah Shalomet. That even this person who has no clue what they're reading, has no understanding whatsoever what the Torah is saying, when they read those words, they draw down the infinite light of Hashem into the world, to the point where they're actually drawing down the very essence of Hashem, who's called the Noisan Torah, the one who gives the Torah, the source of the Torah, into the Torah that you're learning. In other words, by reciting the words of the written Torah, even a total ignoramus is not just reading something, not just practicing the Hebrew reading, but they're actually drawing down Hashem, His divine light, into the Torah that they're reading, into the words of Torah, that Hashem is being revealed through them. Like we study once in another maamar, that every time we learn Torah, Hashem learns with us, learns the words with us. The divine light is actually brought into the world. That is done not just by somebody who learns Torah and understands it deeply, but somebody who reads the written Torah without understanding what they're saying. The light of Hashem is brought into the world. How do you know that? Because the Torah says that such a person needs to make a bracha. And what's the bracha that they say? Baruch Atah Hashem. That you, Hashem, the essence of Hashem, Atah, you that's beyond any name, is being drawn down into Yud Kei Vav Kei to become in the world, Melech HaOlam. And we're describing Hashem as Noisan Torah, the one who is giving the Torah in the present tense. In the bracha of the Torah, we don't say Hashem who gave the Torah, we say Hashem who gives in the present tense, is giving the Torah, Noisan Torah. Why do you say the bracha in that way? Because Hashem is giving the Torah right now. When you're reading Torah, Hashem is giving it to you. Hashem is speaking it through you. The divine voice is actually saying the words of Torah when you're learning Torah. And who makes that bracha? Even somebody who doesn't know what they're saying. They don't know what they're reading. The divine light is being drawn down through them as well.
So are you making that bracha for yourself when you get called up to the Torah, or is it that's for a communal reading?
Communal. That when it's called up to Torah, you're making it for.
So you're announcing on behalf of the community.
Yeah, correct. So it must be a real thing that somebody who reads Torah and doesn't know what it's saying is drawing down divine light. And that's why on Simchas Torah, it's the written Torah we use to dance with, because that level of Torah connects to anybody, which still just strengthens the question, why indeed is that the way we celebrate the Torah? By that sort of minimalist connection to Torah, somebody who doesn't know what they're talking about, but still it draws down divine light. Why is that the way to celebrate Torah, the Simchas Torah? The last three lines. Gam Yedua Hadiuk. Another question that's asked in the maamarim on Simchas Torah. Lama oisin Simchas Torah b'Shmini Atzeres. Why is Simchas Torah celebrated on Shmini Atzeres, or b'Chutz La'aretz b'Yom Tov Sheni d'Shmini Atzeres? In Chutz La'aretz, it's the second day of Shmini Atzeres. We're used to the calendar as we have it, but the Torah, when the Torah itself talks about the festival, there's the festival of Sukkot that goes for 7 days. Then there's a festival called Shmini Atzeres, which is on the 8th day, and that's it. That's the end. Now, because we're in Chutz La'aretz, outside of the land of Israel, so Shmini Atzeres is 2 days. There's 2 days of Shmini Atzeres. The Kiddush that we say on the night of Simchas Torah and the day of Simchas Torah refers to, or the night refers to Shmini Atzeres. He calls the day Shmini Atzeres. Don't call it Simchas Torah, because Simchas Torah is not an existing festival. It's not. It doesn't say in the Torah Simchas Torah. There's Shmini Atzeres, and because we're outside of Israel, there's 2 days Shmini Atzeres. Like all festivals are 2 days. Simchas Torah was a festival that was always there. It developed over the years, the various customs of Simchas Torah. It's not written in the Torah. It's not written in the Gemara. It's a festival that is a customary festival. Custom meaning not Torah law, not rabbinical law, but community law. Yeah, that we developed it, and everything that's done in Simchas Torah is all customary.
The rabbinic law, it would be Shmini Atzeres the second day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But custom changed it to have it Simchas Torah.
Well, the custom added to the idea of Shmini Atzeres, the second day Shmini Atzeres, that it's Simchas Torah. In Israel, there's no second day Shmini Atzeres, so Shmini Atzeres and Simchas Torah are bundled into one.
Simchat Torah came before the second day of Shmini Atzeret.
Why?
The second day of Shmini Atzeret came after the Galut, the exile.
And when did Simchas Torah start?
Not when the temple was the first temple?
No. They had a different system of reading the Torah. There was a 3-year cycle of reading the Torah. And
So
the 1-year cycle came in Bavel,
Oh, maybe not that much.
in Babylon.
So by the second temple, right?
Yeah. So it's quite a mysterious festival, Simchas Torah, but it's really a part of Shmini Atzeres. In Israel, bundled together in 1 day. In Chutz La'aretz, outside of Israel, the second day of Shmini Atzeres is called Simchas Torah by us, not in the davening. In the davening, it's called Shmini Atzeres, second day Shmini Atzeres. So the question is, so why indeed did the custom arise that Simchas Torah should be on Shmini Atzeres? Of all times, what's the connection? When should it have been? A logical time would have been with Shavuos. Why don't we celebrate Simchas Torah on Shavuos, the time of the giving of the Torah? That's when the Torah was given. That's when it should be celebrated. What's it to do with Shmini Atzeres?
And on Shavuos we do read or learn Torah all night, which is what you're saying we should be doing.
Yeah. So Simchas Torah just sort of slips in there. Like again, we're just used to the calendar works that way. Sukkot, Shmini Atzeres, all stuff. Where does Simchas Torah come in here? I mean, other places it says maybe it should be on Rosh Hashanah. We should finish the Torah and begin it at the beginning of the year. That could also make sense, but certainly Shavuos is an appropriate time to celebrate the Torah, and yet it's just shoved into Shmini Atzeres, a different festival. So why indeed? So the answers to that will start, God willing, next time. Here we just got the questions. What are the questions? That Simchas Torah, we dance with the written Torah as it's closed, which all 3 things seem to minimize or to negate the whole point of Simchas Torah. What is Torah? Wisdom. So, when is that wisdom available? Certainly only when you open the Sefer Torah. And also, where's the real wisdom of Torah? It's much more when you learn it and understand it, which you don't even need to do with a written Torah. A written Torah, just reading it is doing the mitzvah. And therefore, Simchas Torah is a time when even the ignorant or those who are less connected to Torah on the surface, they also join in the dancing and the fun and the celebration, even though they have no connection, it seems, to the Torah. And that's how we set up Simchas Torah. And dancing is the exact opposite of the wisdom and depth of Torah. And yet this is how Simchas Torah is celebrated. And of all times, it's celebrated on Shemoneh Atzeres. As if like that makes total sense. Why then? What's the connection? So all that will be explained, God willing, in the rest of the maamar.